What is up, guys? Your boy Afro Music Nerd here. And as my first review on this new channel, I decided to review the new Coldplay tape, the new EP, which he titled Kaleidoscope. Um, so I really liked a lot of old Coldplay stuff. I really did enjoy things like Gio La Vida back in the day, when I was like a little kid, but they kind of just dropped off the face of the earth for a little bit. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened on that. But going into this thing, I was expecting, I guess, the generic kind of pop rock they had been doing, um, and I quickly began to realize that going into this thing, um, that I couldn't really expect a whole lot because since the British outfit, which primarily was focused on merging kind of UK pop and like the generic kind of soft rock that was coming out at the time, there wasn't really a whole lot to expect on this thing, especially since bands like 5 Seconds of Summer, some of the newer One Direction things, some of Ed Sheeran's type things, music have been coming out recently. There are a lot of bands who have done the pop rock sound, and done it a little bit better, both in pop singer-songwriters as well as in um, bands that have been doing it. Like I cite 5 Seconds of Summer doing the whole pop rock thing to a much better degree. So when I went into this thing, I was kind of hoping that they'd come through with a decent album, maybe put themselves back in the limelight here, and I was heavily disappointed. Um, so let me start by saying what I do like about this thing, because there is a lot that I didn't care for. I really did dig the track Miracles, which I think was like the second track on the album. Um, and it features Big Sean on it. The beat was interesting. Big Sean's performance was kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed the whole, um, you know, if you're gonna join the music industry, everyone's gonna tell you that you can't, but you should try anyway. Type lyrics that were dropped by both Coldplay's lead singer, who I forget the name of off the top of my head, as well as um, Big Sean, and they both kind of said that perseverance is key if you want to be able to get in the music business. I did find that song really interesting, and in a lot of ways, the production and instrumentation on these tracks um, is pretty good. But other than that, I can't really give much praise to this album because I don't really see what the hype is. I mean, this album is considered pop rock, yes, but it's one of those pop rock albums where it's so close to being pop that it could be a pop album, but it's so close to it's like it's got elements from both, but it's on that edge of going from being pop rock to being just rock. And to an extent, a lot of that's shown with a lot of the beats on here. There's not a whole lot of grit or exciting um, instrumentation on this thing that make it, like, as far as instrumental, like actual like instruments on this thing. It's very much a computer generated album here. Um, I'm not sure what they were doing as far as that's concerned. I really did like it when they kind of had more of a um, kind of at least a little bit heavier sound. Like they were never a super heavy band, but they had some heavy influences. You can tell that there was still a rock presence in this thing that's just not here anymore. Um, I understand it's an EP, but it's a little criminally short. The thing only runs for like maybe 25 minutes. Most EPs that I've listened to recently kind of have that um, vibe on this thing. Um, yeah, I think that the really the definite low point on this album A definite low point was when he put Something Like This on here, which was a song that he did um, with the Chainsmokers. It was just as excruciating when it dropped as a single. It's just excruciating as it was on the Chainsmokers album, and throwing a live recording of the thing on your tape doesn't make it a remix and doesn't make the song any better. I still think it's just as bad as it was to begin with. I think that my opinion on the song hasn't changed that much. Um, I mean, I guess it kind of shows a little bit of a dirty and textured thing to the album that the album needs, but the song itself is still not that good. And Aliens, despite having one of the more interesting instrumentals on here, still isn't that great. The vocals are kind of weird at points. It's kind of sometimes hard to understand what he's singing. And I just overall did not really find this album good or exciting, interesting even. I just think there's a lot to be left desired on this thing. I'm feeling a strong 4 out of 10. And yeah, I will leave it at that. It's got a couple interesting songs on it, but overall, I would just write this off. I will see you in the next video.